Back.
Oh my
Back from our
God.
summer holidays. The busiest summer holidays.
Busiest
we've
summer
ever had.
ever.
Never thought this would actually happen where we actually have a break. It's,
Yeah, and
did,
then
we had-
make more
well,
content
yeah,
in that
exactly.
break than we have in any other month this year.
Well,
These guys sold me down the river. I'm like,
Well, Chris
we're
Bewley
going to have a break.
basically
We're not going to do
emailed
the
you up.
podcast.
Oh, I'm talking over you. That you could tell how out of practice we are. I'm just like la la la. Simon's trying to say something.
We had a break. These guys agreed we're not going to have a podcast for a month, and then the next week they're like, "Oh, can you do this night? Can you do this night? We're going to do a live stream. We've got a competition to do."
Blame Chris Bewley for
Oh,
giving
God.
us golden tickets and sending us cool stuff.
love
I've
you, Chris
noticed
Bewley.
that I move around too much. I'm going to try and sit still.
Yeah,
Right.
good, because that's good for
You're-
that's good for my OBS
Yeah, I
frames. I'm
keep
just like,
forgetting. I'm just like,
well, okay. So let's just be very clear. Chris Bewley, you're absolutely awesome. Thank you so much. But it is
Yeah, no.
also our own stupid fault for like literally coming up with quite intense, organized, and planning for all of us to just give away a ticket, because he literally
Yeah.
could said you could just do a quiz, you could do anything. And we're like, well, I'll tell you
Most
what we're
people
going
just
to
did a
do.
tweet.
Yeah,
They did
we
a
could
tweet.
just
Retweet it, you get an entry. And then
Yeah.
Hamish is like, I've got an idea.
We're going to do a best of 5.
we're going to do a best of 5 stream with all these. Oh my God.
The most complicated tournament. It wasn't even we couldn't even pick our own heroes. Like,
No.
right, we could pick one, and then well, patrons get to pick one.
I know. I need
And
to
then
create a
Hamish
Google
gets to pick
document. for this. Like,
They
why?
can't be the same class. They
Oh.
can't be different classes. There's Google Forms coming out of our asses trying
Oh
to
my
work out how
God.
this
I was
works.
I was dealing with this from halfway across the world as well. I'm in
Crazy.
British Columbia in Canada at this point.
Oh,
Like,
God.
what the hell? I'm on
So,
holiday.
a
Leave me
huge
alone.
shout out to Shin for
Yeah.
being involved in
Yeah.
that. I don't know if we ever did shout him out, but that was pretty legit. But yeah, we are back. We are back from our summer holidays. I am literally back from Lille, as you may have seen on the
Jealous.
vlogs.
Mm.
The second of which I am desperately trying to export at the moment. But yeah, we'll get stuck into that in a minute. But how have you guys been? Well, how was it just watching me be at the Pro Tour? Was there any jelly, or were you
Well,
happy?
yeah, I was incredibly jealous. I mean, so my home news side, I basically I went to Weymouth.
Ooh.
It was a good weather for it as well. And I traveled to Weymouth during the Singapore calling, to which my wife was getting incredibly annoyed that I'm on my phone. And then near the end of the week, I'm back on my phone because I'm watching loads of people play in France. And she said, "This is a bloody holiday for family." I'm like, I know. Why would they stick 2 major events like back
During
to
the summer
back for me?
holidays.
I know. But
On that note, though,
here's some fun thing. Here's a fun fact. I lost
Alright.
my wedding ring.
Shit,
right.
really?
oh no,
You know what
How
that
did you manage
means?
that?
You know what that means, boys?
Yeah, you're in trouble.
I'm on the
Trouble.
market.
Well
Mostly
then,
just that.
Simon, what were you going to say?
I've never planned for anything on this
fun
podcast,
fact.
but in my head, I
Um,
had this plan. I'm going to go and say this bit and do a beatbox, and
And
everyone will think I'm
everyone's
fucking
gonna laugh.
funny.
I thought that was just bad signal, like what happened to me on the advert.
Oh, Hamish has got poor internet connection again.
Yeah, I was going to say the stream from Tournament Center and LSS for the Pro Tour and the calling was actually the best they've done yet. I think, like the organization they had, the bits between rounds, the extra streaming table they had to fill the gaps, the interviews with players, the adverts they had for content creators.
I thought the adverts were fantastic. One in particular was particularly good.
Yeah, Go Again Gaming literally knocked it out of the park. Like it was, it was that advert was supreme. So top marks to you, good sir.
Oh, I meant us. But...
Oh
well.
No, ours was shit. That was the whole point.
Well, I didn't get to watch the stream because I was busy there. But I've heard good things. I've also heard that the official LSS dice went down very well.
Wow,
and I've also heard rumors that they may end up being part of a content creator kit, but I don't know if that's confirmed or not.
The
So
Eye of a Video channel were talking on the stream chat, and there may have been some confirmation on the grapevine from LSS that those may go on sale. I think they were cool. There were some resource ones, there were some power dice, and they were sort of a translucent reddy orange. They were
really
fantastic.
nice. I think LSS. I mean, I think LSS needs to do more merch. Like, there's no merch apart from the cards. Like, there's no like t-shirts.
It's
or
an extra
hoodies
cost,
or,
right?
like...
It's an extra sunk cost until they're sold. As
they
we
don't know if
know,
they're going to sell.
As we know, yeah.
As we're
but
aware.
Like some made-to-order stuff, I'm sure would fly off the shelves, or even at the event. But having some LSS hats or t-shirts, for sale
that would be sick. To be fair,
they would go instantly. I guarantee it.
Yeah,
right.
But we'll talk about that in a second. Yeah.
What about you, Simon?
What have I done?
Yeah.
What's
your home news?
Well, as I say, I've been on holiday in Canada. I went to the west coast of Canada, drove 3,000 kilometers around the south of British Columbia, which was pretty amazing.
Wow.
Saw things like Lake Louise and Lake Moran and Revelstoke.
Well, it's not Weymouth, though, is it? So
it's no Weymouth, mate.
No, it's not Weymouth, mate.
The prairies of Alberta. Unfortunately, my plans to meet up with another content creator from Spark of Genius fell through. Eric Guerre, I'm sorry, I didn't manage to get to you. Family stuff obviously took precedence on a family holiday. Otherwise, I would have got in trouble like Hamish. And then I came back just in time to not go to the Pro Tour. So,
can I do a quick shout out to Boss Miniature and Gaming from Weymouth? It was a cool little tabletop place that sells Flesh and Blood. So if you are in Dorchester, Poole, Weymouth area, and you do want to get into Flesh and Blood, there's a really cool store that does sell that. Sells lots of Flesh and Blood stuff there. There is a guy. The guy didn't know in the store, didn't know his name, but there's a guy beginning with A who has been going down to there and Dorchester and Poole around that area trying to push the game. So if you're around that area and you're thinking, do I have a scene or do I not? You've got a store down there to go check it out. There you go.
Wasn't there Archer? Marcus Archer was down in Bournemouth way.
Bournemouth? I don't know. Is that where I was?
He was on the scene very early, skirmishes and on the Discord.
Okay.
Anyway, we should probably crack on. Hamish, what are you drinking today?
Well, Simon, I have a tiny bomb.
Ooh, that looks good.
It's an American Pilsner from none other than
Dale. America?
Dale.
Oh, Dale. Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, of course, Dale.
Oh, I thought you meant where was it from in America?
From none other than America, yeah. But no.
Where is it from in America?
Oh God, sorry. This is what a waste of time this bit is going to be. Tennessee.
Oh, okay, very nice. Thank you.
Yeah,
Shout out
to
Tennessee.
Shout out to Tennessee. Simon, what about you?
I have a Daydreamer.
Ooh, can you actually drink it?
New England Session. I can tonight. I'm not on call.
Let's get on it, lads.
New England Session IPA, a hazy tropical New England. So from the London Beer Factory. Tripp down your way.
Oh, down my road, eh? I'm sure it's nearby.
I love it because these guys have they look at what's on Discord, so they know what they're seeing, but they just don't know what's actually being shown on the YouTube. Don't know where Simon's showing half a can. Yeah. There we go.
It's a can.
There we go.
Some palm trees on it. It says LBF. It's a classic.
He's doing the audio descriptive service.
We do need to do that as well. Right, Tripp. What about you? Wildcard Orlando Saclay Bleu.
As a celebration of my time in France, I've come home with a Kronenberg because I was literally in the Eurostar station, past customs and the passport check. And I was like, I'm going to need a beer for this evening. So I went and bought a 4-pack of
a massive penny of Kronenberg.
€17 for 4 beers.
Is that a pint can, though?
It's a 500ml can.
Nice.
So they saw me coming. And yeah, that was a shock when I saw that come up on the cash machine.
Eye-watering prices.
It was very tasty, and I did enjoy drinking one on the train. So
I bet.
Train beers are some of the best beers. Yeah.
Cheers, everyone.
Tripp, I did enjoy your. I couldn't work out whether it was self-congratulatory or self-pity. On making day 2, you went out and had a few beers, and you documented some of the delights that you found.
Yeah, so I had some pretty decent beers while I was out there. So I was out in Lille for the Pro Tour, for anyone who hasn't picked up on that yet. Went with quite a few people from the UK, but mostly hung out with Jake, Push to Point patron, and Shin, Push to Point patron as well, and met up with Darren too, another Push to Point patron. And yeah, had a good time. Had a few drinks. There's a lot of different kind of beers out there in Lille. It's not my kind of beer, I would say. There was a lot of very, very strong beer, and I think we
It's quite
managed
close
to.
to the Belgian border, isn't it? So
Yeah, and I think that was the style. We managed to
Bit like
drink the
blonde
hotel
beer.
out of the basic 4% IPA. There was none of that left because every Fab player nearby was basically buying that. And then all that they had left in the hotel was an 8%er that they were selling by the pint.
That's good.
Which got a lot of people in a little bit of trouble, I think.
Merry.
Very merry and then very sad the following morning. So a few people, our good friend Mark, famous for missing the calling alongside Hamish, he did make day 2 of the calling, but didn't do as well as maybe you would have hoped because he had quite a lot of very, very strong beer the night before. So, but we do know Mark does well on beer. So,
are you suggesting that those people who maybe didn't do as well in the Pro Tour day 2 as they did on day 1?
I'm sure that was
that.
the reason why I didn't do so well on the second day, even though I didn't drink very much. So. But yeah, Simon, what are we going to talk about today?
We will talk a little bit more about your Pro Tour playing experience because I feel like you learned a few lessons.
I did.
We're going to talk a bit about Hamish and my plans for the autumn / winter, and we've got a big event coming up as we've just discussed in about 3 weeks. So let's talk about Nats at the end.
We've also a hero has now departed. Joined.
She gone.
Prism's out.
Prism's out. Yeah,
can we start on that? Because I think this is the period of where people probably want to listen. Yeah,
we were watching the calling final on stream to see because we were back in our hotel by this point. And I have to say, I don't know if you guys watched it, but I think it was the perfect way for Prism to Living Legend. It was
very cool.
It was the most Prism way.
Merciful retribution off a rune chant trigger. And with two of the ones that make it do +1 damage, essentially killed before the damage came through, and they had 1 shield, right? And it was just a perfect way for Prism to go. And as we were saying, and I think you guys would probably agree, it's about time. I think Prism got a little bit longer than maybe she should have done, but I think it was time for Prism to move out of the meta.
Before we carry on, I'm just going to say, if you like our content, please subscribe on YouTube and consider coming on our Patreon. Because I always forget
we're having a lovely conversation and we're like, oh shit, we haven't.
We always do this at the end, and I always forget. So I'm going to crowbar it in. However, I think she had a comparable length of time in the meta to Chain, right? So Chain only went at the last big event, and Prism's gone now. So
yeah,
it's every Pro Tour someone's going.
There's so many points on offer, right? I think looking at the way LSS have set this up now, there probably will be quite a heavy rotation of heroes. We are getting new heroes every year, and we will expect to lose some every year. So I think that's good. I think having that rotational pool of cards is pretty good.
It keeps things fresh, doesn't it?
I think
like it's good.
So here's the thing: why was Prism a massive problem? It wasn't actually Prism who was the massive problem. It wasn't actually the auras that were a massive problem. It wasn't actually the heralds that was a massive problem. It was a goddamn weapon. That was insane. If that weapon wasn't what it was, I kept thinking to myself, what would happen if there was another light illusionist show up? Would it just be we've got specters, all this crazy stuff again? And then it just dawned on me, no, not really, because Luminaris is gone.
Yeah,
Luminaris was the reason. Everything was just really crazy dumb of where you can get heralds doing go agains, why you can get spectres just attacking like 7 auras, like 1 damage each, all for free. That was wild, and I think that was the reason the weapons were tied to heroes was because of Prism. Like apart from Rosetta Thorns.
Yeah, I was going to say, I
and the
can
next,
think of another famous one.
The
the next one that's
how do you,
likely to go.
yeah, but like, how do you like create really, to be honest, Prism is an extremely intricate and interesting hero for the game. She does lots of very unique stuff that you need to be kind of, you need to be pretty well versed in knowing the
tests
triggers.
game mechanics.
Oh yeah,
the same
absolutely.
as Wizard, right? Passing priority and being able to play at instant speed is huge.
But having all these Spectres on the board isn't a problem if they just don't attack, right? If none of them attacked, they're just things on the board doing things, and they're not really doing their stuff. Like, what is it? Is it Iris?
Iris does once per turn, attack for 4, cost 3.
Does it make them all attack for 4 as well?
It's any aura, yeah.
Yeah, but that costs 3. That's different. Like making
it's only
something
once
cost
per
0,
turn.
it's wild. So really, all of her stuff is not a problem. She wasn't even a problem. Her hero ability wasn't busted.
Zero is actually a good thing because if it, like, we were chatting about this with Jake, he's a big Prism player, and he's saying every time someone suggests a Luminaris change, they always end up making it stronger than it was.
Yeah,
because he said like, oh, you make it cost 1. He's like, well, now I can pitch a yellow.
I can pitch a yellow for nothing.
I think it's just the weapon in itself inherently was just the extremely strong bit. If she never had Luminaris, I just don't see Prism doing what she was doing.
And it wasn't like she was out and out like a tyrant like Starvo. She just gate kept certain classes from being able to compete. So Guardians and Wizards could never compete because they couldn't beat Prism, and therefore the aggro decks ran wild because Guardians couldn't keep them in check. Blah 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 blah. So it wasn't like she was a tyrant and winning all the events. It was that she was shaping the meta so that Chain and Briar have done really well.
She was blocking a lot of anti-aggro heroes from becoming a dominant force in the meta. Now, the real thing now is whether other heroes will step up. Like, for example, Icelander, who Prism was keeping out the meta as well. And maybe now they will start blocking some of the anti-aggro heroes due to the Frost Hex combo. And it's going to be really interesting. Like we were saying, we've got a couple of weeks now coming up before Nat's season starts, and I want to see what that meta is going to be like. I think it's going to be really fascinating, and it's a great time for Prism to leave the meta because it allows us to have a very similar experience to Nat's last year, where we had a brand new set drop right before Nat's season, and it was like, who knows what's going to be good? People are coming with all sorts of stuff, and I think that's going to be the same again. It's really, really good.
It's kind of been really exciting, really, because since Uprising came out, that has shaped the meta up, and then we've had our organized play with ProTour finishing now, and now Prism's going. We're now moving into the national season. Like, it feels like
quite a fresh meta.
We've been hitting fresh metas pretty often now recently. Like, seriously, I don't think past nationals it's going to get fresh again.
If you happen to look at the Flesh and Blood Online matchmaking rooms last night and this morning, the number of Guardians you will have seen on there was insane. Like 75% of the people playing seemed to be playing Guardian. It looked ridiculous.
Well, I imagine they would. Imagine that. Yeah, imagine it just went, hooray, we're free.
Yeah, Prism's gone, the witch is dead.
CC is in a really good state at the moment. I'm very happy with the classic constructive format. I think it's really fun and exciting to play. There's some really interesting decks out there that you can pick up, and I think it's in a really good state, and it has been now for a little while. And you know why? Because there's no Starvo anymore. The second they got rid of Starvo, things just refreshed.
That's true. I think like even Briar, like we can just discuss about that quite shortly. Like Briar was something that made me feel like, wow, that's really interesting how popular she was, how dominating she was in the Pro Tour field. Is she... I don't know. This is my take. I don't think she's a massive problem. Like, I think her weapon is. I think what she can do some unfair stuff, but I feel like everything she's doing is still relatively exploitable.
Not. Everyone always says the weapon. It's not. It's
the fact that she can make go again.
It's a strong deck. I agree with you, Hamish. I don't think it's about the weapon. I know, but I agree with you. It's a fine deck. It's an aggro deck. It's disruptible. You can do stuff to it. You can you can try and work out a strategy to beat Briar. You can put in the on hits, the consuming volitions, like think of discard from hand, that kind of stuff. Like, it's a deck you can do something to. It's not like Starvo, which is just completely uninteractive. And I think it's exciting. I don't think that Briar is a problem deck either. And I think I played against, I was at the Pro Tour. I played against the current Briar build. Played against someone from the Polish team, someone from Sunflower Samurai, the Spanish team, or the team that Pablo's on.
Yeah,
both running Briar, though Pablo was actually running Viscerai, which is quite interesting. It's a really strong deck. Like any Briar deck, if it doesn't hit Channel Mark Heroic, you're in for a nice even game. If it does hit Channel Mark Heroic early, it's going to be really tough. But I actually almost won a game against a turn 1 Channel Mark Heroic. Like it was really, really close. You can still pull back into the game. And against Starvo, that just wasn't a thing.
No, it's because it had
exciting
dominate.
And people were calling, like, we can also touch on the ban list. The reason why Prism is LL is because we just had a ban list where there were no bans, and people were saying maybe we should get rid of Belittle. I completely disagree. I think Belittle is a strong aggro card. That is fine. I think it's really, really good. Don't get me wrong, but it doesn't need to be banned at all. It gives these decks extra reach. It lets them do something really unfair, but a lot of decks can do something really unfair, and that's fine. You can still do stuff to it, especially if you're playing an interesting hero like Icelander or even Oldham. You can probably think of something clever to do. I think that the main problem that I have, because as we're talking about Nats,
and
as coming out of the Pro Tour, I'm so sick of Uprising Draft.
Okay.
I was a big supporter of Uprising Draft. I said that it wasn't that bad. I'm just tired of it. Like, it's so, and I think a lot of people came out of Pro Tour with a really bad experience of Uprising Draft. And
so I think there's two issues here. One is the perceived balance of Uprising Draft, and although Fi is generally seen to be the hero to force to go aggro, I think we did see a bit more balance over the last couple of callings and Pro Tours on what you could actually play. Dramai and Icelander was sort of stepping up and making things a bit more even in terms of the number of 3-0 winners of their pods. But secondly, I think the bigger issue is that we've only had one draft set this year.
Yeah, and that's going to be the format going forward.
And it's going to be the format going forward to Worlds.
It's a lot. We went through Uprising Draft for Road to Nationals. We're now gone through an Uprising Draft over in Utrecht. Had an Uprising Draft in Battle Hat. It's almost like it's.
And we've got it for Nats and we've got it for Worlds.
Yeah, it's a lot for one set, and I don't even think this one is that. It doesn't. It's come out with a bit of this isn't feeling that great, and there's a lot more of it.
Yeah, and I just want to level with you guys. I've problems with the balance. I also just don't think the games are particularly fun. Your Fi deck is always the same. Your Icelander deck is almost always the same.
Yeah,
you're doing the same thing every single time. Dramai, fair enough. You can do some really cool things with Dramai, it's
then
just dull.
can
you can either you go big phantasm attacks, or you go dragons, right?
Yeah.
Or mix of both, or you try a rake thing. Like, it's just not very interesting. Like, when you were drafting, like, I know this was ages ago, but welcome to Rave Draft. Like, you could draft some really weird stuff in Welcome to Rave Draft, like a big pummel Katsu, or like some weird attacking Dorinthia. Like, there's different ways because of the generic attacks and the generic.
Do you think though that was
set.
Because it was felt like you were doing that more casually, that it felt like you could casually have more fun, but now with all this, we're doing it a lot more professionally?
Not necessarily, because actually the pummel Katsu was really good into Guardian, and Guardian players tended to dominate in Welcome to Rave. Oh, well, like the ones that I played, Guardian always did really well, but you used to be able to play like a controlling Katsu against them, because you've got your Kodachis and you've got ways to push damage through with pummels,
right?
Even against defense reactions. So I found that quite refreshing, but I think I am burned out on it. I'd be really interested to hear other people's views from the audience. Like, feel free to comment on the YouTube video, your thoughts on Uprising Draft. You might really love it, but I'm getting tired of it. And I can't. I'd love a way to build. Maybe I can build a Fi in a really controlling way, but because there's always 4 or 5 players, you don't get the cards to do that. You just And
Yeah.
this is the thing. You're in the Pro Tour, right? And they say, right, you've got 30 minutes to deck build. And do you know what I do? I put all my playable cards in, and I'm done because
Yeah. Yeah.
I only draft enough cards to
playable
play deck.
cards.
And maybe I've got
Yeah.
a couple of yellows. I got a couple of those sigils of blocking that don't do anything. And I'm
away,
like, I won't. I'll remove those ones.
away.
So
Yes,
having
Scissors
had
Fight.
okay.
having had a couple of weeks of draft armories at our local game store, we've done a Welcome to Wraith and we've done a Monarch in the last 2 weeks. I agree. I think Welcome to Wraith is one of the better draft sets around. I used to really enjoy Monarch draft, and I went 2-1 the other night, and I didn't enjoy drafting the set. Like, it was really apparent the variance between packs where you'd have almost all light pack followed by an almost all shadow pack followed by, like, it was really wonky. It felt really wonky in Monarch Unlimited, and I like the consistency of the packs in Uprising in that sense. Like, you can read signals really nicely in Uprising, and you can draft properly, as it were. There isn't any one crazy thing like in Arcane Rising. Again, I really enjoy Arcane Rising draft, but that if you get an induction chamber, you're there, like, you're done. Welcome to Wraith. If you want to go for the big blue guardian, you're probably gonna win. Like, the defense reactions and the blues and the hammer are really powerful. I don't know. There's always something you can pick at with a set, and I think we're at this point because we've had so much exposure to it. We are getting burnt out and fatigued with Uprising Draft because it's been the draft set for so long, it feels like already, and it will be there for the next foreseeable few months.
Well, I think you haven't mentioned the one I still think is really, really, really fun, and I'm probably going to get told I'm wrong, but I thought Tales of Aria was an incredibly sick draft set.
Like, we got burnt out on Tales, didn't we? But
we did.
Yeah. I didn't, probably because I don't play it enough.
Yeah, well,
like I just
probably because you just dominate everyone, and then like Guardian dominate for 7. I think that's
probably my thing. I take draft as it like there is a small pool of cards. There is so many tactics and options you can build into. You don't know what you're going to get when you go there, but you know what you're trying to get, right?
Yeah.
And I think when you know what you're trying to get, and then it feels like it is samey because we know what we're all trying to do, and you just get annoyed when you don't get it. And then if you do get it, then you feel like, okay, cool. And then when you do get it and someone else also gets it, you know what the game's going to be. It's kind of starter decky-ish vibes.
People are moving, like, as I say, people went
maybe
for
I'm
Fi
completely
initially.
wrong on that, but
I know Tripp has tried drafting Icelander a few times and done it with reasonable success. Have
I? I don't think I've ever done that.
Have you not? Have you just forced Fi everything?
I force Fi every time. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I played that as well.
Maybe that's why I'm having a bad experience.
Yeah, I think maybe you're right, Tripp.
If you were to go out and draft Dramai, you might see a bit of a different side.
No, don't do that.
Looks way more interesting.
Yeah, don't do that. It is way more interesting, but like you won't way less win rates. I'm telling you. The Fi one, I agree, because when I went to Battle Hard and I just went right, I'm playing Fi, and it was just very much 4 than 3.
I do
3
have
than 2.
I don't want to moan about. I don't want to moan about Uprising for too long, but I do have one suggestion that I was talking to some people about, and that is just removing Helios from the game, like Helios Mitre.
Why?
I think giving that's the headpiece that you can.
I know, but why?
Because it will basically take a little bit of damage prevention away from Fi against Icelander, and I think that's legitimate. When Icelander goes first, pretty much every single time you just go, okay, pitch as much as I can to Helios Mitre, prevent as much damage as I can, and now we can start the game. I think that's a potential option to just take a little bit away from Fi. Obviously, Dramai has the Ash Wings with the Arcane Barrier, so she's a lot more protected anyway. I think it's an interesting tactic to add any card that you can add to your pool just for free has to be really carefully balanced. And when I first saw Helios, I thought, yes, I think they've got that right because it's quite expensive, but it's a surprisingly powerful card, and you get a surprising amount of heal off it, like 2 health you wouldn't have otherwise, and you don't need to draft it. It's just free in your deck. So it's just something we were chatting about.
Okay.
But
Fair enough.
something to consider. Maybe people have some thoughts in the comments about what they would do.
Yeah.
So just to wrap up then, your playing experience over draft and CC, because you've touched on them both individually at the
Yeah.
Pro Tour, how would you describe your weekend?
I would describe my weekend as I basically got what I deserved. I finished 6-8 in total, which
I
6
love
wins,
it.
8 losses. I did no preparation for this tournament whatsoever. I played one game with Fi in CC, and that was against Hamish on stream, and I played Kodachi Fi, and I thought it will be fine. First thing, the Fi deck I played, which was a deck given me to Shin, and I believe he got it from Jamie. Incredibly fun to play. Like one of the most fun CC decks I've played in a long time. It's Fi with on hits, so things like Take the Tempo, Engulfing Flame Wave. So it doesn't really lean into like a big combo. It's trying to put pressure on, trying to force blocks from Briar. It can go quite defensive if you need to. Can't block particularly well, but it can just fall back on Phoenix Flame and Weapon if you need to, which was really, really fun. One of my most enjoyable games was against an Olden player where on his turn, I would fetch one Phoenix Flame. On my turn, I would then play it, swing Weapon, fetch the second Phoenix Flame, swing Phoenix Flame, and I still had Shuko. So I was pushing 5 damage a turn from just blue hands. Like that's actually pretty fun and interesting way to play Fine. The first draft, I thought I did pretty well, went 2-1. And then I went into CC and it was tough. The field is really tough at the Pro Tour. Everyone you're playing against has either won a Pro Quest or got in on XP, and generally there's no easy game. I think we were saying this before the podcast started, but there's no easy game at the Pro Tour. There's no like, oh, I've lost a few games. My next opponent will be someone that I should have a good chance
basically
against.
the bottom tables are top tables here.
Yeah, the bottom tables are filled with people who are topping their local events. They're topping Pro Quests. They're winning events all the time, and you can tell because they all look very disappointed to be on the bottom tables.
Yeah.
And like it's tough. I managed to do okay day one. I went 4-3. I was hoping to try and finish 7-7. I had some really fun games against some of the Polish team. Someone from the Polish team. I got my nice little Polish frostbite, which was great. That was a big win for me. I managed to win a couple of games of CC. I lost my first 2 games of CC, but I managed to then win the next 2, which is something that I've been trying to work on, is to try and not lose my sort of mental strength after losing games, to try and come back and get wins. So I was really happy to, even though I lost 2 games, to then come back and win a really close game against a Briar player from the Sunflower Samurai team. And then, unfortunately, at the end of day one, I got matched up against Darren, Push the Point patron, who was running Prism. The Fi deck I'm running is very good into Prism. It's just you just go really wide and you run Mask of the Pouncing Lynx, and you can just do dumb damage. And obviously, Shuko is always there to kill shields if they can't really create lots of shields.
Was it the Kodachi Fi list you took?
No, it was Flame, the Searing Ember Blade.
Yeah.
So you're going very wide. You're looking to pull off a big Art of War turn if you can, but you can just put on so much pressure. It's almost more mid-range in many ways. You just go very wide, do a lot of damage, force people to block if they don't want to take it. But if you're coming in with 5, 6 card hands, sometimes if you hit with like Take the Tempo or Engulfing Flame Wave, it's very powerful deck. It does struggle against Briar though, and I did take a couple of L's to Briar, but again quite close games. Day 2, my draft was not as good. I went 1-2. I should have won my second game, but I didn't
what
draw
happened?
damage.
When people say should have won,
this is one of the few occasions. This is one of the few occasions where I would actually say I probably should have won. I'm up against an Icelander. I'm forced a 4-card block, not able to Arsenal. They're on 1 health. I'm on 1 health. All I need to do is to draw a 3 power card or a 4 power card because they still have 2 Quell, right? I draw a 1 power card, 2 1 power cards and 2 2 power cards.
Well, then you shouldn't have won.
Well, if I'd drawn a 3
Well,
power
you
card,
didn't
if
then.
I had one in my
Oh,
deck, I would have
no,
Your
won.
deck
that's-
wasn't.
I thought
Your
was
deck
so-
wasn't there.
If I'd drawn a 3 power card, it would have been a 4 card block. So at least I would have got another turn.
When I hear that, like Shin gave an example of when he said I should have won. Right? So he actually had the win, but he played wrong. So he played a card that said if you play a red, you got to play a card. I can't remember what it's called, but you got to play a red card and you get go.
Plays headlong, you get go again. I think.
Yeah, but he played the card.
He played them in the wrong order, basically.
Oh, I literally had the combination, but I didn't do it. I should have won. That's like you should have won. And then yours was you drew.
He shouldn't have won because that was his mistake.
Yes, of course.
Mine was my deck letting me down, so I should.
I should have won if I drew better.
You made the deck because you drafted it. So
yeah, and there was tons of good cards in it.
I give you no excuse.
But anyway, as I was saying, it was not meant to be. And then I ended up 1-2ing the draft, and it was just rough for the CC portion of day 2. I lost 3 games in a row. Lost to an Oldham, that game I was talking about. I lost to another Briar, really tough games. And I lost to my third game was the worst one, and that was when I was really starting to think. I was really starting to lose my kind of like, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah,
like,
your will was getting crushed.
Came up against a Bravo, and I just wasn't in the game. Like I was just, it's like I checked out
behind. Yeah,
but I finished that game, and I was like, right, this is silly. So I went off, got some water and some food, and I was like, I'm going to try and win this last game. And lo and behold, I get matched up against a Prism, and really good Prism player, but I absolutely crushed him. And it was very satisfying. Like I was like, okay, I finished the game, finished the Pro Tour with a win. I didn't do as well as I wanted, but like 6-8 in the end, it was tough. But I was happy enough with the effort I put in. I would have liked to have done better. I was hoping to 2-1 both drafts, or 3-0, obviously. I'd love to 3-0 the draft, but like I was hoping, if I could 2-1 both drafts, I feel good with that because I feel like I'm a relatively good draft player. I got into the Nats through draft.
Yeah.
Didn't quite pull it off in the second draft, but at the end of the day, someone came up to me and they were like, "So you're just gonna drop because you can't make day 2?" Because I was 4-3. Oh, they said you can't make
top
8 or top 32, and I was like, no, I'm going to do this. Like in the first Pro Tour, I dropped because I was losing tons of games, and I was like, no, I'm going to play this out. And it was so good because I was just playing against amazingly good players, learning lots of stuff, and just working out how they play and the way they play. And it was such a valuable experience that you're not going to be able to get anywhere else.
And this is still true Flesh and Blood. You still learn something every game. Whether you win or lose, you learn something every game.
Yeah, I agree with that. I was
actually. I just want to say congratulations, because winning 6 games in that field is an achievement. Like you can't take that for granted. As you said, there were no easy games. You won 6 of them. I had to have I went 7-7 in New Jersey, and I felt really down for a bit afterwards. And before the tournament, I said to myself, if I get 1 win, I'll be really happy. And I came away with 7. You've come away with 6. Like you will reflect on that, and you will be really pleased with that after a while.
Yeah,
we want to improve, I know, but
when I lost my first game, I was like, oh great, it's all over.
Here we go.
And then I went into my second game, and I won it. I can't remember. So I can't remember off the top of my head who I was playing. It was part of the draft. I was like, right, I've got to win, right? Like all I got to do is just take it 1 game at a time. And then I got another one, and I felt good about it. And then I lost 2 more, but I was like, no, I can do this. I can come out at least with a positive from day 1, and I did. I was happy with that, and I was really hoping to try and get 7-7 at the very least, so I could match you, Simon. But it didn't happen. But it was a really fun, just playing these games. And I just want to say one more thing, and I would like to talk about another subject in a second, but. My experience of the Pro Tour 2 in terms of the players that I played against, the level of patience and demeanor of the people I played against was really positive. There was no issues at all. No kind of like angle shooting or rule pushing rules. Or I even had one guy, a UK player, it was something Duggan. Is it Mark Duggan or Matt Duggan?
Matt Duggan.
Matt Duggan. He just I made a mistake, and I was like, oh, I made a mistake. He was like, oh, you just take it back. Just take it.
He's a really nice guy.
I was like, oh,
Really
it's the Pro
sound.
Tour. And he was like, no, just take it back. And I was like, that's the way I want to play, is like just having a good demeanor. So like respect to him. I think he ended up doing really well in day one as well. So
He was like, take it back. I'm going to win anyway.
He
Yeah.
was absolutely crushing me because he was playing Fi and like he could play a lot better than I could. But I respect that a lot, and I found all the people I played against were lovely. There was no issues with that at all.
That's
and
cool, man.
And that speaks volumes for the community, right?
Yeah.
Really good community, and I loved it.
No, that's sick, man. I'm glad that you had a fantastic time. A lot of the time people go to these things with, I feel like you go to stuff with results in mind.
Mm-hmm.
And I think 100%, you should go to these things with experience in mind.
Yeah.
Like, what are the experiences am I getting from being in another country with a bunch of people?
Yeah.
That was what I know we were talking about Pro Tour, but that was like the thing I had when I went to Utrecht, because it was my first abroad trip away. And I didn't even fucking go to the calling. You know,
you were about to say first calling, but it wasn't.
So I've still never been. But but it was just like it's just being with people.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing that a lot of people like. I would probably say 90% of the people who go there should really take that on board. There is 10% of the people that are so goddamn good at the game that they're going to look at trying to get results, and they will probably achieve it. So they're going to really focus and hone in on that. But 90% of everyone else that showed up to a tournament just have fun. Think of it as you're going to a festival, right? You know, just go and be.
And it is worth saying,
it's good fun.
We've said this before about tournament fatigue.
Yeah.
Playing 14 rounds of games of that intensity is incredibly taxing. Over 2 days, you get to a point on games 12, 13, 14 where you will make small mistakes or big mistakes, and because you haven't eaten well enough or you haven't had enough downtime, like, it is a thing, and you have to recognize that and move past that. It's incredibly taxing.
And that's one of the things I was most proud about, is I made one mistake in that game, the fire mirror, but apart from that, I didn't. I obviously made like probably didn't make like the optimal turn. That's a brain thing, not a I didn't make mistakes. Like I didn't play cards in the wrong order or like pitch the wrong thing or anything like that. It helped that I wasn't running Tunic, but I felt very happy about the situation. I want to say the UK representation at this tournament,
oh my god,
they did absolutely fantastic. The first thing I want to say is Shamir. Shamir is a good friend of mine. He plays in the London Armories. I see him every time I'm at an armory. I'll see him. Been playing against him for a very long time. I would say probably since he started the game. I think he would understand if I said that he was going there to do as well as he could, but getting to the top 4 is huge. Came out of nowhere, playing Icelander for most of the CC up to this point, switches to Briar, and he makes the top 4 of the Pro Tour. That is absolutely insane. And the reason why he did that, the reason why he managed to achieve that, is because he put the reps in. He tested and practiced, and he put the graft in, and it's anyone. It just shows that anyone can do it. Like anyone can. I genuinely, anyone can win one of these tournaments if you've got a bit of brain, a bit of talent for the game. If you're willing to put the time and effort in, and you know, Swiss goes all over the place, right? If you get the right Swiss run, you can do it. And
let's talk about the winner then. Another UK player who we've had on.
Oh my god!
Who we had on the podcast.
It's amazing. Well, we had 3 of the top 4 has been on Push the Point. Like that, I think that says a lot about Hamish and his ability to pick guests, and a lot about this podcast is that we actually do talk to people, and we bring people onto this show and bring people onto the channel, and we know how to spot them. Basically, we can
finder, baby.
Yeah.
So let's just say then quickly, like, Matt's obviously no stranger to controversy.
Well done.
And current reigning UK national champion, and had some tellings off by LSS last year. Has been on the scene as a constant present pretty much since then. Has been competing, winning ProQuest, winning RTNs. I think he mentioned himself in some post tournament
It was
interviews
on the Fable Academy.
that he's not had the best of times lately, and I for one was sorry to hear that. I wondered why he hadn't been to so many events lately, and he's obviously not been himself. So hearing why is an interesting factor. But then he credits the new online platform, Flesh and Blood Online, to being able to get 10 plus games in a day for the last 2, 3, 4 weeks. That's huge, like 200, 300 reps on a deck that you're comfortable with, because he won the UK Nationals with it last year, pretty much. I think that's huge. That's just dedication to the game and getting those reps in, like we say. And just being persistent enough and consistent enough to get your reps in, get your practice in, and perform. And he obviously did.
I was going to say that I feel like Matt, like obviously, like Simon said, like huge, awesome congratulations that he won. Seeing his emotional reaction when he knew he had the win to become the Pro Tour champion was quite emotionally awesome to see.
Yeah.
Like I feel that I personally vibe off like the people that are in our community winning. Seeing Matt Phelps winning felt like I won. Like it's like England getting the goal.
Exactly
it's just like, oh my god, this is amazing. And I think as well, him as a person has grown massively. Like I think, like you said, from the Nationals of where he was, and he stated where he was and where in his space at the time, and how he performed was not wasn't up to scratch to how we wanted to see players perform in events. But I think over this whole time, I've seen him grow as a person, grow as a player. Every time I meet him at an event, I feel like he's just this different dude. He's a lot more chilled out, still driven to win, but he's doing it in a much more positive way. And I feel him, it's just amazing. Honestly, I think he's a seriously very good player. He is now a UK national winner and a Pro Tour winner. And when he says I'm gunning for Worlds, like I wouldn't put it past him at this point.
The thing that strikes me about Matt every time I speak to him and every time we play at tournaments and talk at tournaments is as you said, Hamish, the drive and the want and the need to play more games. When people talk about splitting prizes and not playing and conceding in top cuts, his argument is, why would you not want to play those games? That's what you've come to the day for, right?
It's like an adrenaline. Like
that's what you want. They're the best games. Yeah, they are the best games. So
Worlds is going to be runner-up gets 25 grand and the winner gets 100. He is the guy that's not going to turn around and go, should we just split this, go away? He's going to go, no, I'm doing it for the 100.
Would never let that happen anyway. But
no, but I mean, it's such a huge gap.
So yeah, well, congratulations, Matt, and stunning achievement to see the UK and the EU do so well. There was one non-European player in the top 8.
That was the what is this in the calling or the Pro Tour you're on about?
In the Pro Tour.
Oh, old Fano Black, the meme lord himself.
Yeah,
God.
And Europeans won both the Pro Tour and the calling this weekend. So congratulations, Joris from Belgium.
We move off the conversation of Matt winning the Pro Tour, because if you've ever posted anything about Matt and you don't really know the guy, I'd 100% please listen to the interview that we did with him on Push the Point, and please listen to the interview that he did with, I think it was with Fabled Academy, right?
Yeah.
Hamish. Just listen to what he has to say, and before you say anything about him, because I think you will learn a lot about him and I think it's sometimes with this game, people don't humanize the people playing, or they've heard rumors, or they've heard people talk about someone. Just hear it from Matt himself before you say anything yourself. And that's all I would ask, is you just listen to him directly and what he has to say first.
It's boring. Honestly, the shit that he gets is boring now. It's like someone one time crashed their car 5 years ago, and then next time you think, oh, you're gonna crash your car. I'm like, yeah, dude, a long time ago this shit happened. Why don't we all just move on a little bit? People
and I think
grow up
if
and
you listen
do
to
shit
Matt,
differently.
you'll learn a lot about him, and I think just listen to it and see where you go from there. But anyway, let's talk about Fino, because I want to talk about Fino's eyebrows. If you've seen,
this guy knows. He's the.
Can you imagine the level of chill that you have to have? You're in the top 8 of the Pro Tour, and that's your that's the sting, right?
when I chatted to him on our interview, like there was a clip that I put up on Twitter. He is one of the funniest guys in this community. He is literally down to meme. Like he's very good, and he's serious, but he's so unserious in his seriousness. Does that make sense? Like,
and the best thing
he's
that
like Jim Carrey
all weekend,
he's so
was when he got
good at being unserious. It's actually an art.
When he got nicknamed Fino Green in the chat.
Fino Green. Why was he called
when
Fino
the casters Green? During one of his games, he got labeled Fino Green.
Why?
Go through and watch the stream. You had to be there.
All right.
Did you see where he got friend-zoned by James?
Did he get friend-zoned?
He went for the heart, and James
went to shake his hand. Yeah.
This is what I love about this game is we're starting to actually get characters. We're starting to get personalities playing the game, and that's really good for this game.
It's so
fun. To have people with a bit of a bit of something going on. It makes it feel like a competitive sport where you've got people you can recognize by their personalities, the way they play, the way they are. And that's really fantastic. It's not just dry, and I really love that. And seeing that develop through the Pro Tour scene is fantastic.
I can't wait to see that all at Worlds. I don't know about you, Hamish.
Well, I agree, but I will just say that I would love to. I'm looking forward to the UK Nationals and having that sort of local theme of characters and everything coming through again, because we've got some what.
Just ruined my segue into the bit about Worlds.
Sorry, well, we are going to go on to that bit. I do apologise, but
we're a bit rusty because we've had a month off.
But we've got some really fun characters even in the UK scene. We've got the Judge Man himself, Jamie Faulkner. We've got Matt Folks, who is for some strange reason still
loves the hate.
Yeah, he's absolutely. UK Nationals is going to be fun to watch. You're going to have some top players in there, and. Speaking of which, sorry, Simon, the bodge dead.
But also, Worlds is happening.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Tripp.
He's dead now.
I'm not even going. So these two are heading to Worlds. I got to go to Pro Tour Lille, but you two are going to be going to San Jose.
Yeah.
Do you know the way to
San Jose? I don't, actually.
Good job you bought a plane ticket then, because we only need to get to London.
I feel like I was the first one to buy a plane ticket.
I
don't know the way to San Jose.
You just said that Utrecht was like your first big foreign holiday, right? Like to go abroad
in this game, yeah.
In this game, yeah. And and now you're going a lot further to.
I went to America before. Right? I've been to America before for the different game.
Extra luggage space.
Oh no! I didn't get to.
No. Wants any luggage space?
It's even more pathetic. It's even more pathetic than that. My mummy sorted out my plane ticket, but she well, I just said I'm not well versed in this shit, right? And my mum went, "Oh, don't worry, I know what to do." But I will say that every time my mum sorts any of my shit out, something goes wrong. Like something inevitably is just not done right, and I don't know something, and then it will. So I'm just telling you now, something will go fucking wrong on my way.
End up in Austin, Texas.
No, but I realised
I think
like
we've
luggage.
bought the same flights, but it may not. He may have bought. He's going to San Jose, Costa Rica, is where he's going.
But I've got my mum gave me a little surprise. I get I've got plus economy or something on the way back, which means I've got.
Ooh.
I know she did a little, little gif. For
So
me.
when I said, "Shall I use some points to get premium economy on the way back?" and you were like, "But I'm sitting in economy. Why can't we sit together?"
My mum did. My mum kept it.
You've now
as a surprise.
absolutely shafted me, is what you're saying.
Well, my
Oh
mum
my
put
God.
the. Okay, I will say it had already gone wrong because when I was talking to Aaron from Scotland, who got into the top 8 nationals last year, he said, "What time are you? When are you getting back?" Monday, mate. Monday, 2:30. Now I just gave him a screenshot of my thing, and I said, "Look, just look at that." And he went, "It says 6:20 on Sunday." But no, Monday. No, it says Sunday. It fucking says Sunday. Oh,
It's an overnight flight, mate. That's
yeah,
what he
but my
said.
mum, and I said to mum, I want to fly back Monday. So she said, yeah, you'll come back in the UK on Monday.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I'll still be at this fucking tournament at 20:06. I'll be sitting there in the final going, James, seriously, we're gonna fucking over this shit. Have I got a flight to get? I would like as if I'll get to the final in Worlds, but yeah,
Hey,
it already
never
went
know.
wrong, and it's cost me 50 quid to get that changed. And then I spotted the plus, and my mum went, "Oh, there you go. There was your surprise coming home." So that's why, Simon, I didn't know, but I did know. You can still do it. It'll cost you money though. There you go. It's already gone wrong. I can't wait for us to sleep together, Simon. We've never slept together.
Moving swiftly on.
Spoon.
I feel like you're a cub.
I'm a big spoon kind of guy.
No. You're the cub. I'm the bear. Just saying.
Wow.
Audience at
Wow.
home, please let us know whether you think Simon or Hamish is the big or little spoon.
No. Do you know what the cub and bear is? Tripp?
Yes, I know what that is. Yes.
Yeah, well, I'm a bear, mate. Have you seen me?
What a fucking surprise.
I don't want to know. I'm so naive.
Simon looks like he could.
Want to know.
Simon looks like he'd text it, right? Absolutely text it.
Okay.
Where's this come from?
Are you guys actually going to talk about Worlds at any point?
No, it's ages away.
That's not an appropriate joke.
We're gonna, yeah.
What?
I don't have anything to say to this man. That's all I'm.
Good luck to the
I'm very
vlogs.
much looking forward to Worlds.
What do you guys think is going to happen?
I ain't thinking about that yet. I've got 2 weeks for nationals.
We've got nationals first.
There's going to be a new set.
No, it's not going to be a new set. It's going to be after.
No,
it's before, right?
No, it's after.
It's before. It's before. Like
it's before.
No, it's
Dynasty
after.
Release. Hey.
That's why they printed a new Blitz hero, which we haven't talked about yet.
Wait, hang on. They're not bringing it. I thought they were bringing this out in. What?
Dynasty's out in November.
Yeah.
And Worlds is the first week in November.
Yeah, so Dynasty's not out.
I don't think Dynasty is out.
No, it's not out. We're using the same. It's the same bloody format.
Wait, are we arguing the same thing? Tripp, you're wrong.
Tripp's wrong. But they might ban Briar.
I win because I made you two argue about it.
Oh, well, there's definitely going to be a ban and restricted announcement.
I thought it would
and they're probably going to be.
They might make it legal for Worlds, but where are we going to get the cards from?
That would be well fun.
No, it's not going to be out, but that's what they're going to use Worlds to. No, the Worlds is where they're going to show off some cool stuff, I would imagine.
Either way, we've got nationals first. We're going to speak more about Worlds, apart from the fact that we have flights and hotels. We're going to speak more about Worlds after nationals, which is in 3 weeks. So,
but push the points back, everyone. We've had a break.
As it goes,
we're doing it live again.
We are doing
as it goes. We're doing Push the Point live from nationals.
Yep, we are. Okay, we're announcing that we are doing Push the Point live, and that's.
Oh, should we do a giveaway?
No,
but we got a Patreon giveaway still.
No, we might do a giveaway at nationals though.
Oh, I can see that on the Audacity.
Well, that'll be
shouting no in the mic.
No.
I thought we've got this Eclipse mat to give away still.
We do need to give that away, but that's for the patrons.
So,
yeah, that's what I mean. Do it now.
No, I think.
Okay, all right, another one. Sorry, patrons.
The next episode of the podcast is going to be the week before nationals.
Well, we'll do it then.
We'll do it then.
Yeah, we'll do it then.
And then someone who's listening will find out they've won a mat on the way to nationals.
Yes, that'd be cool. I'll bring it with me just in case.
It's just been a very Push the Point episode of Push the Point. You know,
I think we've taken about 3 steps back.
We were so swish, and now we're like, wait.
Tripp, congratulations on your performance at the ProTour.
I'm looking forward to going into Nats and trying to do as well as I can.
and not testing at all, and then doing it.
I might do a cheeky test this time.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Hamish, congratulations on a wonderful family holiday and losing your wedding ring.
Thanks. I'm on the market for it, gents. I'm not doing the beat.
For gents, you're on the market for gents.
Oh, yeah, I'm a bear. I told you.
You just said you're a bear.
I'm a bear. I'm looking for a cub.
Shut it down, boys. Shut it down.
Yeah, and well done, Simon. You managed to go to Canada and back, and
I got there safely.
You drove a really long distance.
Well done. You drove. Yeah,
Canada's a big country.
Okay,
Consider
guys.
just going to New York instead.
Yeah. Bye.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.